So, spatial queries. Or I'm sorry, not spatial queries. Well, technically, I mean, select by location is really what we're talking about, which is spatial queries. It's kind of one of those things where there's two names for it, and you'll hear those two things interchangeably, but they do mean the same thing, as far as we're concerned. So again, it's the next option for selecting things. So you can select by location from here, but again, you have to pick. I guess this is the best place to go for select by location, and is just that selection and select by location up here. So this box, if you read the box, like I think I told you this with the join, this is one of those boxes where you just got to read it probably for the first 50 times you do this. You're going to have to read this stupid box again. So what does it say? It says, select features from one or more target layers based on their location in relation to the features in the source layer. And it's kind of a difficult sentence like to have sink in. But what it's saying is, if you select by location, you can select from multiple or one layer in relation to another layer that's on the map. So in this case, we'll select cities that are within a mile of a highway. And that's relevant to like a business kind of a scenario where you want to have good access to major roads. I've done that before. So we're going to, again, read the box, right? Selection method. We're going to select features from the target layer, which will pick the target layer. So this is where we'll have things get selected. And we want to select cities. And then the source layer, right? You might have to read the first sentence again. Select things from the target layers that are in some relation to the source layer, which source and target don't really work well here, but that's what it is. So cities are going to get selected based on their the source layer and their distance from the source layer. Now this says intersect as a default, but these are all the different options for select by location. And this has grown over time. So they're kind of neat, right? Intersect would be if they actually touched each other, right? So if a point was on a polygon, you could select them by the polygon. Or they could do completely contain, right? That would be like if there was a bunch of polygons within another polygon or a bunch of points within a polygon. For this one, we're going to do are within a distance of the source layer. So like the third one. And this is like a really valuable tool that's like kind of hidden in this window here. And then, of course, how far do you want to look, right? We said 1 mile. Let's do 5 miles, whatever. So this query is going to return the cities within 5 miles of an interstate. So I just hit OK. And that's most of them. So let's take it down to 1 mile, right, and see what happens. If you zoom in, you can see the ones that are farther away don't get selected, right? So like we can do select by location. It saves my last setup, which is nice. And then I can just change this to 1. It reduces the set that's selected. And I can select by location and do 0.5. And it reduces it again. So again, the two options after you've done this are, do you want to save those points as a different layer, or do you want to create one of those temporary layers, you know, like, because usually what you're doing this for is, like, you want to run some other operation on these points, or you want to make a map out of them, and you only want to show them, you know. I think one other thing to show you would be like a polygon selection thing. So first of all, let's show a definition query, right? So it is kind of like a third type of query, but it's just kind of a funny thing that you can do, because you know, these are like saying to the machine, like, go select this stuff, right? And then just leave it selected, right? A definition query will say, only show this stuff every time. Like, don't even make it like available to a user. Like, or, you know, you can write it the other way where it's like, always show me this one. So like if we wanted to only show the counties in Michigan, the best way, like one way you could do it right here, we'll show you using the tools I've already shown you. Let's see how you might do that, right? We would do, open the table. Oh, nope, don't remove it. It's not going to help. If you remove something, you can undo it with that button. So all right, we're gonna do is open the attribute table, select by attributes, state name equals Michigan. Okay, 83 gets selected. We can see they're selected on the map, and so then I would have to either go to selection, create layer from selected features, maybe rename that Michigan counties layer. We'll just call this a temporary layer. Okay, so we could have done that. We could have also gone to data, export data into our test database, which would be Michigan. We don't want to do spaces in these counties. And we call this one permanent layer. And sure, I'll add that to the map. They're going to look very similar, right? So we've done this a couple of ways, and you can see that they are, you know, two different layers. But the third way, that's easier than doing all that, is you just go to the properties of the counties and this tab called definition query, and you tell it what you want to see, or what you want to exclude. So I can do, or like basically write like a query that it checks before it does anything else. It makes it much easier to work with the data. I guess just take my word for it until you have a chance to try it. So state name equals, again, we've done this, Michigan. And it just queries it out, period. So the data didn't go anywhere. It's just telling it, just show me this subset. And so the best thing about that is like you don't have to make a new layer. You don't have to keep track of anything else. You can just say, for whatever I'm going to do in this MXD, only show me that. So anyway, I think we're going to do a, let's select each county that has one of these cities in it. Oh, I don't like that. Okay. Or let's select the counties that don't have a city, right? So we would do selection, select by location. And you'll see when you have a polygon, it'll give you different options, I think. So we're going to select features from the cities, or sorry, from the counties that touch the cities, and we're going to select the ones that intersect it, and we're not going to apply a search. Oh, sorry, intersect is the first one. And we're not going to do a search distance for this one, and we just apply that. So that selects everything that does have a city. And then if I really wanted to do the ones that didn't, I think the only way would be to do the switch selection button up here. And that'll flip it to have the ones selected that don't have a city. So I mean, it's kind of cool to get good at this, because then you can like, yeah.
So for like the overlapping ones, does it select like the one that's most again, or are there no overlapping?
So it would only select one county. So there was like a group of points on a county, it only gets selected once. But it is funny, like if you did, so we'll talk about geoprocessing in like a class or two, which is really where it gets like interesting for analysis. And if you did like an intersect, it would create a point every time there's an intersect between that point and a polygon. So it would create like overlapping records, like potentially for that polygon would get repeated a bunch of times at the same. But Not for this. This is just going to select things from a set in a bunch of different ways. And, you know, the select by locations are kind of logical when you read them, you know, for shapes, like, you know, and how it selects things.